Okay, this is part 3 of our setup tutorial. We're now ready to put in the computer. You may notice we're back on a different day, but that couldn't be helped. We have the computer already out of the briefcase. It's in the zippered pocket. We fold up the legs on the cooling mat. Set it here on the table. Then in the front pocket of the briefcase, you'll find the power supply. The AC cord goes into the converter, and it gets plugged into the spool that's right down here by the table. We unfasten the Velcro strap. And we draw out the cord. Plugs in over here on the upper right-hand corner. Let's see if I can get that in the picture. Yep. Next, we need the USB cord for the cooling mat. We undo the rubber band around it. The cooling mat has 2 USB ports right there next to the red on-off switch. Plug into either one of those. And now we plug into the USB port right over here next to the power plug. This is different from the previous set of instructions. Also from the briefcase, you'll remember this case, which holds the earbuds. Pull that out. Set those aside for now. We open the computer. At this point, we want to make sure that the PTZ camera is turned on. The power plug sits right next to the switch. So we turn that on and you see it going through its startup routine. All right, now we're ready to plug in the equipment to the computer. Like I said, we want the computer on last because we found that everything reads better if the computer finds it there at startup. So this is the cord to the Moukey, which is sitting over there. We are now plugging in the USB power to the cooling mat in the first USB slot up here next to the power cord. The next one back has a label above it that says Moukey. So this is on the right-hand side. the slot closest to the front. Now we're ready to plug in the PTZ camera. This is the video capture device. It is labeled PTZ. It goes into the regular USB port up at the upper left corner. It has a label right above it that says PTZ. This is the same as it was previously. Now we're changing. This is the cord from the SDI converter that runs the Canon. We would only use that when the band is playing. This is a converter from a regular USB to a USB-C. Plugs into the USB-C port over here on the left-hand side. It has a label right above it that says Canon. Now we have everything plugged in and we're ready to turn it on. The power switch, you'll remember, is up here above backspace and next to delete. And then this is standard. Once it comes up, it's going to ask you, you'll get the Windows screen with the clock on it. You'll hit enter. It's going to ask you for the PIN number. The PIN number is available to you on the manual that you'll find in the bag, and copies have already been given. The old copies you still have, and that number has not changed. Okay, now we have the computer on, and we are connected to the internet. We're now using the St. Michael's 5G. It shows down here that the signal strength is not that great, but the higher speed that we can get off the 5G has solved most of our connectivity issues that we've been having. We do still have occasional issues of dropouts, but they are far, far less than what we've been encountering before. So now we come over here to HP audio switch. We want to open that. Here we see we're on speakers. For microphone, you'll see we're automatically on microphone, which is actually the Moukey. The other one, this is the line from the Canon, which it expects to be able to provide audio. It cannot. And offhand, I'm not sure what the digital audio interface is, but the one that we want to have selected is microphone, so always check for that one. Speakers, once we have everything else up and running, we will connect the Axloys, and that will read as connected. One of the things I check, I've just opened up Chrome. I click on the menu bar and I select speed test. I check to see how good our connection is. The important thing that we want, right now it's measuring download speed. Since we're streaming, it is upload speed that we care about. Here it says we're at 86.7 megabaud upload. That is very good. That's the reason that we've switched to the 5G. So we close that. Clear out the address bar. And we go to YouTube. Once again, you click on Your Videos. Then you'll click on Live. This brings up the ones that we have live streamed. Obviously, these are all replays. This part has not changed. You know that you will find the upcoming service above replays waiting for you to use. You'll mouse over it. You'll find the dot with the three half circles on either side of it that will take you to the control center. Now we're going to continue our setup here. We're ready to open up OBS. We're going to do a demonstration on how you'll handle a one-person service after we've done the setup. But for a regular service, you'll find the list of services right here. As of when we're recording this, the next service coming up is November 28th, Advent 1. So here we find that we're reading off the PTZ. And here we're getting the picture off of the Canon. When you were setting up the Canon, you want to look through the viewfinder. This is roughly what you should see. And you want to pay attention to Scott Bennett's music stand and seat. Move him right up to the edge of the old communion rail to make sure that you can see him. He likes to creep back, so you have to stay on him. Obviously, if the band is not playing, you don't have to worry about the Canon, you don't have to worry about any of this. So now, we need to open up the Axloys. They've just told me they're connected, and this time they're cooperating and they have switched over. They don't always do that. You may have to disconnect and reconnect them. Hopefully they will cooperate with you the first time. Next, we come down here to the little gear, the setup icon below the lower audio bar. It's labeled USB audio. We right-click on that and we click Advanced Audio Properties. This is the same as before. This one is volume. You want to make sure that it is at 200% on mic aux and USB audio. And you want the sync offset to be at 200 milliseconds. That ensures that the audio comes out at the same time that the video does. They process through the computer at different rates. So now we want to change on USB audio, monitor off to monitor and output. We're getting no sound at the moment because nothing is turned on. All right, now we have one of the congregation mics turned on. We have its transmitter and its receiver turned on. We have the mixing board turned on. And we have the congregation volume turned up to 5. As a result, you can see that we're getting audio through here. And we are hearing sound cleanly through the Axloys. We need to make sure that the cords are not, the cords from the receivers are not mixed up with the cord from the axle, it will cause problems. So
Okay.
from the Moukey, it will cause interference on the channel. So when we plug it in and before we turn on the transmitters, we need to check those cords and make sure that they are free. So this is, now has everything set up and ready. Operating of OBS, the streaming software, has not changed. We use the up and down arrows on the keyboard to change the scene. We use the 0 key on the number pad to transition over here on the program screen. This is what will go out when we are streaming. So I hit 0 and it changes to this screen. Now I come down here to scene 1 blank. Blank again simply means there's no text on the screen. For the PTZ, we change its position using the buttons here on the remote. The eye, of course, is up on right next to the blue power light indicator on the camera, so you may have to move this back to get a contact. So I just hit number 1 and it swings around. You want to check your positions when you get in here and first set up in case the tripod has been bumped, or in case when you're mounting the camera that you inadvertently shift the base a little bit. The ones that you want to pay attention to are number 4, which is Paula's lectern. That one looks good. And number 5, which is the reader's lectern. We'll scroll down. Now we see the text of the gathering hymn. We want to make sure that the text box does not interfere. It does not here. So now we come back over to number 4. The only time text would be up is if Paula was leading the creed or a prayer from here, in which case she will be in her seat right here, so this is perfectly acceptable. If she was actually speaking from her lectern, the scene would have no text in it, and this will be just fine. The only other positioning buttons, home, of course, brings us back here. We generally use this position for when Jeanette is doing the dismissal. You may use the arrow keys to shift the camera down to better position on her. And then we use the slow zoom down here towards the bottom of the remote to zoom in. Or to zoom out. Then when we're ready to go back, we simply use the preset buttons. Here we're returning to number 1. When we're ready to start recording for the service, again, you'll have Chrome open in the control center, the control studio as they call it. You will click Start Streaming. Should give me an error because we're not connected to anything, but anyway, and you would click Start Recording. These two buttons are right next to each other. You will see, as you probably remember, there's a timer here that will tell us how long we've been recording. And it'll let you know if there have been any dropped frames. And then over here, there will be a colored square. Green means that we have a good connection. Yellow means it's borderline, and red means we have lost signal. When we start, you want to have intro number 1 up, assuming we're doing a full service. At this point, once it is in the program screen, you can give Claudia the signal to begin her prelude. Leave this up for about 30 seconds. Again, you will be counting right over here. So as soon as you have this one up, you advance in the preview screen to intro 2 at roughly 30 seconds. You advance to that one, use the arrow key to come down to the blank screen here. You wait again about 30 seconds and advance. If you have to fill in, there will be bulletin copies available for you that will have the music included in it and will have all these directions on it so that you will have only one piece of instructions to follow along with. You will not have to be juggling between the regular service bulletin and the hymnal. We'll make that available to you. When you get to the end of the service, here we have the text of our closing hymn for November 28th. We'll come to the end of it. This is when we'll swing around to the home position. As soon as the music is over, we go to the blank screen. Paula and Jeanette do the dismissal. You return to position number 1 and bring up these credits for, again, about 30 seconds. Meanwhile, you advance the preview down to the scheduled music. Bring that up for about 45 seconds to a minute. And then come here to the calendar for the remainder of Claudia's postlude. Once she's done, then you'll come back over here. Since you will be streaming and recording, this will say, of course, stop streaming and stop recording. When you click here for stop streaming, you'll see a pull-down menu. It'll say stop streaming or stop streaming without delay. Click just stop streaming. Then in the studio, roughly up here where it now says create, you'll see a red button to stop the stream. It'll then bring up the menu asking you if you want to stop right now or edit. It'll say edit or dismiss. Click dismiss. And with that, you are finished. You can then close everything down and take everything apart in the reverse order of what we laid out for you in the previous tutorials. And just take care to coil everything up and put it away in the correct order so that everybody can find everything and that nothing gets inadvertently damaged. Thank you very much for all your help.